Now SAFCA is going to get, or starting to be, the vision to have control of all the coaches in South Africa. In that fashion, when we are grouped, we'll be able now to put our heads together through our vision to say, now, where are we heading to? People are crying, what is your style and everything. SAFCA is going to make sure that they are going to contribute to SAFA being the custodian of football. SAFCA will be having all the technical knowledge of football. The problems that we had now concerning the national teams, people will say this SAFCA is long overdue. It has been done long before, yes, but we have to start afresh now in order for us to be able to do more beefing of players, development of players, and contribute to the new structures of football in South Africa.
It's about helping one another. I think the biggest word or buzzword or the biggest word we need to use is education. If you don't have education in anything you do in life, you've got no chance. So we as a footballing nation or a group of coaches, we need to start educating our coaches. Me included. I need to learn, we all need to learn, because in this game you never stop learning. But we need to start sending our coaches on coaching courses. Courses that will educate them to take players, to progress them in their learning curve of becoming a footballer. Because until we do that, we will never improve. We used to do that in our own little way in the 70s and in through the 80s. And look, we had 96, we won the Nations Cup one. So, and I think it fell away, because everything came a little bit easy for everybody. But certainly for me, education is the buzzword. If we don't educate our coaches, what are we going to teach our players?
For me, the most important thing when we're looking to go forward is the development of our players and the development of our people who is going to coach our players. When Gavin talks, he talks about being a coach that has won 3 league titles. And as a coach, I don't know how he's won that. He must have something in his pocket. And that's important for me as a senior coach now to try and get out of it. But going back, Greg spoke about the School of Excellence. The School of Excellence in one moment in the country produced some of the best players on the pitch for a period of no less than 10 years. Until now, some of them are still playing the top football in the world. Stephen Pienaar comes from the School of Excellence. He's still one of the top players in the country, but there's nobody else who's competing with him. And for me, that is a shame, because we have not taken that stick and carried on running with it, and we have not had enough seminars whereby we were able to find out from a coach like Gavin how he won 3 league titles, or find out from a coach like Gordon Ingerson how he won 3 league titles. Those were never subjects that was put on a seminar and spoken about. And besides, teaching the other coaches what it is to put up a session and what it is to win leagues and things like that.
The statistics says now in South Africa we're having plus minus coaches at 8,000 who went through the SAFA education system. I'm not talking about other coaches who went outside to go and get some training overseas. I mean only in South Africa. We're only having 30 instructors who are now going to educate the other coaches. Now this is very much unfair. The ratio is not good. Why saying that? You will see now there is the master plan of SAFA, which was now compiled, and even some of the coaches contributed to that master plan. It has to be now effected or implemented. Plus minus 15,000 coaches are needed within 5 years and 5,000 per year. Now the 30 instructors won't be able to do that. There's a lot of education that needs to be done, both for the instructors as well as the coaches to come into play. The survey shows us now that as of now, the ratio of coach to player is 1 coach to plus minus 60 or 80 players, the ratio. Now compared to the other continents or to the world standards, it is 1 coach per 16 or 20 players. Now when are we going to reach that standard? The SAFPA is going to try and make sure that these are done with the involvement of everybody. The issue of the system that's going to be implemented for any person. As of now, there are medical doctors from Cuba. They are forming part of the screening by the Medical Council. In SAFCA, we have the South African Football Council as well. We have the modus of operandi. We have the ethics. We have all the systems that can be implemented. And immediately we can show this to the clubs and the people who are the stakeholders, definitely have the buy-in. If we can implement those systems, things are going to be easy for South Africa.
Now, how do you effect that? Do you effect that in the SAFA constitution so that it becomes applicable even in the PSL as well?
No, SAFA has its own constitution. It's independent from SAFA. It's just an associate member. They are the service provider. They have their own constitution. They have code of conduct of their coaches. They've owned their own ethics, how the coaches should behave. And all those trainings, all those documents are available that are going to be implemented in respect of the coaches and also shown to the clubs to say, now, this is how we intend to operate in a very systematical way.
Can it become effective now if it's only in your constitution? Because maybe the PSL club will say, well, they are not bound to abide by this.
To be bound is another issue. We are saying we are the service provider. We want to provide service that can assist not only for SAFCA, it's assisting the Rainbow Nation football. The football of South Africa is at tatters as of now. Now certain systems have to come in. Now SAFA is going to assist us because they are also the custodian of football. The PSL is also an associate member of SAFA. Now all this, you have to sit down, have the buy-in, discussions. It can take a year or 2 years before the systems can be implemented.
We must take the PSL coaches all out of this. The PSL coaches can only lend their experience and lend their knowledge into a forum on a seminar day or something like that. We need to get coach educators who coach coaches. If you don't get people who become educators, so it's like becoming a school teacher. I can teach, but have you been educated to teach? We need to develop people who can coach, who are coach educators, who can educate coaches. It's different from coaching players. Big difference. A coach can coach players, but can a coach coach coaches to coach players? And that's the buzzword. We need to educate these people, and we need to try and push that along the lines of getting that done. If we can, in a small way, and we can affect small. We're not going to affect everybody overnight, but you can affect certainly. And coaches mustn't have an attitude of, no, this is not for them, because this is for them. And we're going to try and drive and get seminars and day sessions and morning, whatever. And we need to do practical things, not theory, because in South Africa we're very good at theory. You know what theory is? Conferences, meetings, indabas, talk, no action. And we need to do practical things. So practically, if they want to come on a session tomorrow and they want me to do a coaching session with, say, 20 players in front of 20 coaches about a defending phase of the game, about an attacking phase of the game, about a general team phase, a counter-attack, I will do a session in front of 20 coaches, PSL or not, and give them my input of what I think. And that's what we need to do. That's the only way we're going to grow the game. So when the coach from the under-12C team in Katlehong goes back to his team, at least he can put on a training session or understand why certain things have been done. But to have theory and sit in meetings and talk with a collar and tie on, no good, my friend. We need to do practicality of things. And South Africans, we're very talk theory, talk, no action. So practical things need to be done.
Well, as of now, because everybody must come in and give ideas. This board has been stagnant for 20 years. Nobody knows who's who. I cannot point Greg Mashiro and say now he's the proper person to lead. And say no, there's somebody somewhere else who's a better person who can lead SAFCA. Everybody must come in, all those ideas must come in. But the one you prefer that can start driving this vehicle, the leadership is there. It must be a shared leadership, not an individual or positional way saying, I'm the president, you have to listen to me. No, we know nothing. It needs 20 years to recover and have 20 years to make forward of SAFCA.
So you're still undecided?
Well, not to say undecided. The coaches that will assemble at the elective congress will decide who.